Hello, Clayton Stufflebeam here. Today I'm down in Effingham, Illinois with Joe Bolte. Joe, you've got a large passion for weed control, whether it's herbicide or mechanical.
Yep.
Today we're going to talk about the mechanical side, right? Starting off with the row focus in row weed Tine Harrow. This is a tool that we're going to use alongside a row crop cultivator and get those little weeds that the cultivator misses right next to the crop row. This machine is made by Fabrication out of El Paso, Illinois. We did a video last year on one of their row crop cultivators, and this is another tool they're offering. They've got a multitude of options, which we're going to talk very briefly about, and then we'll talk about Joe about the plot, that we're doing down here, and then what he expects when it comes to data. So with this weed Tine Harrow, row focus weed Tine Harrow, stage one is I can adjust my depth up front with the gauge wheels. We're going to want to run this fairly aggressive when the crop's small. And as the crop matures, we might want to lower that aggressiveness. So stage number two, it looks like a rotary hoe, and then I can angle that one way or the other and increase or decrease the aggressiveness. Stage three is where I have my options. I'm going to start off with this. This is just a spring Tine Harrow, and I can also adjust the pitch of these springs to make it more or less aggressive. The second option is another look-alike rotary hoe. So this is where I can run fast and increase my speed, and then by doing so, I can adjust my aggressiveness. And then Joe down here chose to go with option number three, which is probably the most aggressive option that we have. His weed pressure is really high down here, and that'll help get some of those weeds pulled out of the soil. It utilizes a steel finger at the bottom side, and then these orange fingers are made out of poly, and those help keep the clumps off of the soybeans and then move any weed away from the row, but also be gentle on the crop as well. So that's the option we decided to go with. It's working pretty good in the field. We'll bring Joe back up here. He'll talk a little bit about the plot, and then we'll go to the plot and show you how it's working in the field.
All right, so what we're actually looking at here this year is we want to try and take a few different approaches here. So we're thinking about the organic growers out there where we don't have that chemical option. So what we wanted to do is see how many passes with this tool does it take, and can we be successful? And another thing that we want to look at is also, what about a non-GMO scenario? You know, if we think about some of our post-herbicide options in non-GMO soybeans, such as PPO chemistries, maybe like a Cobra, a Flexstar, or maybe even some of our ALS chemistries like a First Rate, a Classic, some of those products we can spray post, we may have resistance to those chemistries out there. So if we get in that scenario, in a non-GMO scenario where we maybe don't have those post tools, can we maybe break out some iron here and look at, hey, can we be successful if we break out some iron, control these weeds if we maybe don't have a post option in a non-GMO scenario? And we also wanted to take a look at, sometimes we get the question is, our Group 15 herbicides are very good on small seeded broadleaves such as waterhemp. Here at this farm, we have a lot of waterhemp and grasses. Well, Group 15 products such as Warrant, Zidua, Outlook, Dual, those products are really good on waterhemp. However, they don't have any post activity. So if we get where our weeds are starting to germinate because our pre's broken in a non-GMO scenario, let's say we got PPO resistant waterhemp, ALS resistant waterhemp, can we come out, run this tool, clean up that waterhemp, and then be able to come out and put our Group 15 down? We know that Group 15 won't have any activity, but we know if we can get it activated, we clean up that waterhemp that's germinated, can we be successful that way? Then we also wanted to compare it to just a traditional non-GMO program like a Cobra or a Flexstar, that PPO, with clethodim. So we're looking at Cobra, clethodim, and Warrant. So that Warrant's going to give us a residual, that clethodim's going to clean up our grasses, and that Cobra is going to hopefully clean up our waterhemp, but that can be dependent upon size, the pressure, dependent upon if we do have resistance out there. So with that, we'll actually take you out to the field and take a look at what we've seen with this tool so far.
Joe, so this looks like this is probably your control here.
Yep, so as you can see by our weed pressure, we have a lot of water hemp. Some plots we have some fall panicum, but this area we have a lot of water hemp here, so that's our problematic weed. And as you can see, if we can be successful in this area, that gives me a lot of confidence that there's probably a lot of fields out there where we can also be successful with it. So this is our untreated check, and as we move over here to the left, and this is where I get really excited about, so we have a 6-row treatment. So our center 4-row is actually where we're running that rotary hoe, the focus row here, where we're actually able to control all the water hemp to the side. And if you see here, pull this one up where we got this plant wilted, we know that this plant's probably not going to make it. You know, sometimes we may get a rain or they try to reroot, but this heat at this point is really helping us out to kind of zap the last little survival they have out of it, versus that row you're standing on where we're just running the old school row crop cultivator. We can't get really close to this row. So we see this water hemp, we missed a lot of water hemp here, versus where we're actually running this newer tool, this new school way of thinking here, we're able to actually clear that water hemp up that the normal old school traditional row crop cultivator is going to miss.
So it looks like you're going to get about 90% control here. The other thing I noticed, you ran about 5 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
And that focuses right on top of the row, which we've got crop here. We don't want to damage our crop, but looking at it, I don't see any beans pulled out of the ground. Looks like the orange fingers did a good job of getting the big clods away. And it did throw a little bit dirt onto the row, which is important too, to keep other seedlings from germinating. So cover those up. Overall, I think we did a good job. We do want to mention this is the portion of the plot that is organic. Yep. We've got no herbicide right here.
Correct. Yep.
So if we can control it versus your weeds and your water hemp in your control here, chances are of success is probably pretty high. The other thing, notice we come back here, the middles of your rows, your row crop cultivators missed some right here. So we know that it's important you're going to have to do this over and over again for full success. And that's kind of the organic way, it seems like. Repeated passes across the field. So Joe, final few thoughts here. Do you think it's possibly a recommendation going forward?
Yeah, I think, like I said, Clayton points out what we have over there versus what we have here. We definitely know that, the row crop, the old school way, we're missing stuff, versus here we're doing a good job. We didn't really harm the crop, so that's really exciting. We can be aggressive and get those weeds. So I think we definitely have some potential. We have a lot of different treatments out here, looking at some more where we're not spraying any herbicides, so more of an organic approach, more of a non-GMO approach, looking at some rescue applications with this tool. So we're going to get a lot of cool data and really understand how to utilize this technology going forward.
I want to thank TH Fabrication out of El Paso for donating the toolbar this year, the Weed Focus Harrow, for you guys. Appreciate it, and we'll see you at the next video. Thank you.